From our very first breath, as we enter the world with a cry, we are thrust into a life filled with both joy and hardship. The journey of being human begins in vulnerability, and from that moment, we are touched by the realities of existence. From the innocence of childhood to the wisdom of old age, life confronts us with a universal question. Why do we suffer? This question echoes through every stage, from the laughter of youth to the quiet reflections of our final days. Suffering appears in countless forms: loneliness, betrayal, loss, frustration, anxiety, and pain. It is woven into the fabric of human existence, touching everyone regardless of background or circumstance. No one is immune, and each person's pain is uniquely their own. For millennia, humanity has sought answers through philosophy, religion, and art, asking, is there purpose in suffering? Can we find peace, or is pain simply a part of life to be endured? These questions have inspired countless thinkers, artists, and seekers across cultures and generations. In ancient India, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, raised in luxury and shielded from pain, was suddenly confronted with the harsh realities of old age, sickness, and death. These encounters shattered his sheltered worldview and awakened a deep longing to understand the roots of human suffering. Driven by compassion and curiosity, Siddhartha left behind his royal life and embarked on a quest for truth. His journey was not just physical, but a profound inner search that ultimately led to his awakening as the Buddha. The Buddha's teachings offer a practical, psychological roadmap for understanding suffering. Rather than blaming fate or the gods, he encouraged turning inward, observing the mind, and discovering the causes of our pain within ourselves. The Buddhist path begins with the courageous act of acknowledging suffering as a fundamental truth. This honest recognition is not a sign of weakness, but the starting point for a transformative journey toward lasting peace and freedom from suffering. The Buddha's teachings rest on the Four Noble Truths, which form the very foundation of Buddhist philosophy and practice. The first of these truths is the truth of suffering, dukkha. This is not just about obvious pain or hardship, but a deeper, more pervasive sense of unease that touches every life. Dukkha is more than just physical or emotional pain. It's the subtle dissatisfaction, the restlessness, and the sense that something is always missing, no matter how good things seem. The Buddha described dukkha as having three distinct layers, each revealing a different aspect of our experience. The first is dukkha, the direct pain of body and mind. This includes grief, anxiety, physical hurt, and all the obvious forms of suffering we encounter in daily life. The second is viparinama dukkha, suffering that arises from change. Even our happiest moments are shadowed by the knowledge that they are fleeting, and that joy too will eventually fade. The fear of losing what we love, or the anxiety that comes with knowing nothing lasts forever, creates a constant undercurrent of unease in our lives. We cling to people, experiences, and things, hoping to make happiness last, but change is inevitable. The deepest layer is sankhara dukkha, the suffering that comes simply from being alive in a world of conditions. This is the existential stress of knowing that everything is impermanent and beyond our full control. It's the background tension that arises from our dependence on ever-changing circumstances, the sense that we are always at the mercy of forces greater than ourselves. Like passengers in a vehicle we can't steer, we are carried along by life's unpredictable twists and turns, never fully able to control what happens next. The Buddhist path is about understanding these layers of dukkha, seeing them clearly, and learning how to respond with wisdom and compassion. Through mindfulness and insight, we can begin to resolve even the deepest forms of suffering. Recognizing these layers is the first step toward freedom, a journey that begins with honest awareness and leads ultimately to peace. After acknowledging dukkha, the Buddha asks, what causes it? The answer is tanha, craving or attachment. This craving isn't just for pleasure, but a fundamental force at our core. It appears as craving for sense pleasures, for existence and identity, and for non-existence, pushing away what we dislike. We chase fleeting joys, try to solidify our identity, and resist pain, but all are impermanent. This endless cycle of seeking and resisting traps us in dissatisfaction. Only by understanding craving can we begin to break free. The Buddha's third noble truth is profoundly hopeful. Suffering can end. This cessation is nirvana, extinguishing the fires of craving, hatred, and delusion. Nirvana isn't a distant paradise, but a state of peace available here and now. When the mind stops grasping and resisting, it rests in unshakable tranquility. This isn't passive emptiness, but dynamic freedom, seeing reality clearly without distortion. Like floating on waves instead of fighting the storm, suffering loses its power when we stop resisting. The key to liberation lies within our own minds. By letting go of craving, we discover the peace of nirvana. The fourth noble truth provides the how, the noble eightfold path. It's not a checklist, but 8 interconnected principles developed together, cultivating wisdom, ethics, and mental discipline. The path is grouped into 3: wisdom, right understanding, right intention; ethical conduct, right speech, action, livelihood; and mental discipline, right effort, mindfulness, concentration. Wisdom means seeing life as it is, and committing to let go of craving and act with kindness. Ethics purify our actions, speaking truthfully, acting compassionately, and earning a living without harm. Mental discipline trains the mind, preventing unwholesome states, cultivating awareness, and developing deep concentration. This training reveals the illusion of a permanent self and uproots craving. The Eightfold Path is a holistic guide to freedom. Walking this path, we transform suffering into wisdom and peace. Meditation and mindfulness are the core tools of the Eightfold Path, directly addressing suffering at its root. Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment. Practice often begins with the breath, gently returning attention when the mind wanders, building focus and awareness. As mindfulness deepens, it extends into daily life. Walking, eating, even washing dishes become opportunities for presence. We learn to observe thoughts and feelings as passing events, not absolute truths. This creates space between stimulus and response, our freedom to choose wisely. Meditation untangles the knots of dukkha, not by changing life, but by changing our relationship to it. Through sustained practice, we find peace within, regardless of circumstances. When suffering seems random or unfair, Buddhism turns to the law of karma, cause and effect, not divine judgment.
Karma means intentional action. Every thought, word, and deed plants seeds for future results. Wholesome actions lead to peace, unwholesome ones to suffering.
Suffering isn't punishment, but the natural result of past actions, ours alone.
Karma isn't fatalistic. Each moment is a chance to plant new seeds through mindful, compassionate choices. The present is where we shape our future.
Karma empowers us to take responsibility for our lives. By acting skillfully now, we create the conditions for future happiness. The end of suffering is in our hands. Beyond karma, Buddhism points to the very nature of existence, impermanence, or anicca. This is the understanding that everything in our world, from the smallest moment to the grandest mountain, is in a constant state of change. Nothing remains the same, not even for a second. This insight is at the heart of Buddhist wisdom, inviting us to look deeper into the fabric of reality.
Everything changes. Bodies, thoughts, feelings, even mountains and stars. The people we love, the places we call home, and the experiences we cherish are all subject to the flow of time. Even our memories shift and fade, reminding us that nothing is fixed or permanent. Nothing is permanent. Clinging to anything for security is like building a house on a river. The current will always move, reshaping the banks and carrying away what we try to hold on to. When we try to anchor ourselves to things that are always shifting, we set ourselves up for disappointment and pain.
Suffering arises when we ignore impermanence and grasp for stability in a shifting world. We long for certainty, for things to stay the same, but life's nature is to move and transform. The more we resist this truth, the more we struggle against the natural flow of existence.
Our pain signals that we're holding on too tightly. It's a gentle nudge, a reminder that our attempts to control or possess are at odds with the way things truly are. When we loosen our grip, we begin to find relief. Suffering is a teacher, urging us to see reality as it is. Each moment of discomfort is an invitation to look more closely, to understand the impermanent nature of all things, and to grow in wisdom and compassion. Through mindfulness and meditation, we observe change directly, loosening our grip. We learn to witness our thoughts and emotions as they arise and pass away, discovering a deeper sense of calm and acceptance.
We learn to flow with life's currents, loving and enjoying without desperate clinging. This doesn't mean we stop caring, but rather that we appreciate each moment for what it is, knowing it will change. Accepting impermanence brings a peace not dependent on circumstances. It's a peace that arises from understanding, from letting go of the need to control, and from embracing the beauty of each fleeting moment.
In letting go, we find freedom. We discover that true happiness isn't found in holding on, but in opening ourselves to the ever-changing dance of life. Suffering isn't a mistake. It's a message, guiding us toward wisdom. Each challenge is an opportunity to awaken, to see more clearly, and to live with greater ease.
The Buddhist path is about seeing clearly, letting go, and finding peace in the heart of change. It's a journey of awakening to the truth of impermanence and learning to rest in the freedom it brings. In impermanence, we discover true liberation, a liberation that allows us to live fully, love deeply, and meet each moment with an open heart. Buddhism's approach to suffering is pragmatic and psychological, inviting us to investigate our own experience. It begins with the honest admission of dukkha, but offers hope. Suffering has a cause, and thus, an end. The cause is craving and clinging. The solution is training the mind through the Eightfold Path. Mindfulness and meditation teach us to observe thoughts and emotions, breaking the cycle of reactivity. We can't always control what happens, but we can choose our response. The Buddhist path is open to all, offering peace not by changing the world, but by changing our relationship to it. By understanding dukkha and walking the path of mindfulness and compassion, we find unshakable peace within.